Geauga County Court of Common Pleas is now in session. The Honorable Matthew Rambo presiding.
Thank you. Please be seated. On the record, August 5th, 2026, case of State of Ohio versus Stephen Anthony Kurzinger, case number 25C000064. Mr. Kurzinger is present in the courtroom from the Geauga County Jail with his attorney, Matthew Bangerter, State of Ohio, represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Nicholas Burling and Prosecuting Attorney James Flays. Mr. Kurzinger, you previously entered a guilty plea to count one of the indictment, aggravated murder, and unclassified felony. A PSI was prepared, and today we are here for sentencing. Mr. Bangerter did file a sentencing memo yesterday, I think. The state of Ohio did not file a sentencing memo, but was not required to do so. Counsel, any additions, amendments, errors in the PSI that need to be corrected?
No, Your Honor.
Mr.
No, Your Honor.
I know we've got a full courtroom, so everybody that's going to speak clearly and loudly so the reporter can take down your testimony or whatever you're going to say. And Mr. Bangerter, the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Your Honor, I would ask to reserve our comments for after the state's presentation.
You don't want to speak at all?
I prefer to wait till after the
Mr. Burley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this time we do have 3 representatives of the victims who are going to be speaking, so I'll have you guys step forward. And if you could just, when you speak, if you can give your name for the record.
I would ask anybody that's going to come forward and speak to speak at the podium, please, and direct your comments towards me, not anybody else that may or may not be in the courtroom, okay?
Okay. Hi, my name is Marie Ann Brown. Do I just start reading?
If you're going to read, make sure you read slowly. The court reporter is taking everything down.
Okay. When I think about what you did, I wonder how. How can you go from loving someone so deeply that you would do anything to be with them, rooting for them to do better, and then brutally killing them? I've never hated anyone as much as I hate you, Steve. I never knew this kind of hate even existed. How dare you take Alex away from me, from her kids? How dare you take her chance to live a better life away? You left her in her darkest days, and then when she finally found the light without you, you had to snuff it out. You took your own children's mother away. They will never get the chance to see her at her best. They won't have her at their wedding or introduce her to their kids because of your selfishness. That's all she lived for, was to be a better mom. And you took that away from them. You took my best friend away, the one who taught me it was okay to be different and introduced me to the weird, fun part of life. Alex accepted everyone for who they were and always saw the best in you. Her laugh made the whole room laugh. She was never perfect, but you took her ability to better herself away further from her. As I look at you sitting there, I feel pity. Pity that your life got so low that you had to kill her to win. I hope you sit in your jail cell and remember the light force Alex was when you fell in love with her, and how you took the light from her eyes in 1 second of evil selfishness. I hope she haunts you in your dreams and in your daily thoughts, because in reality, Alex won. She made herself better. That's something you could never do. You might have taken her body, but her soul will live on in all of us, remembering the light she brought to this world. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Rachel. Me and Alex are first cousins. We were the first granddaughters. We were each other's first best friends. And you know, Steve, there was a point in time where I actually rooted for you. I thought finally you guys could get better by being separated and actually become sober and decent, better parents and learn to co-parent together for the betterment of your own children. But it's very evident as we all stand here today that she was the only one that could actually do anything to better her life. How is it that this could start off so amicably and result in murder? You're not a hero. You didn't do anything great for anybody. You just added to the long list of trauma that was already a result of your guys' marriage. And instead of trying to be a decent man and father, you chose to act like a child who couldn't take no for an answer. You're nothing but a coward, a little boy who refused to learn to regulate and accept responsibility, nor learn to take accountability, a child who needed a constant bailout for either my grandparents or your own parents. All anybody ever wanted was for her to get her life together and be better, and you murdered her for it. You're disgusting. And I hope you rot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Might be a little redundant, sir. This begins and ends with you, Steve. You took vows of marriage before God. You went to Catholic school. You know who God is. As a husband, father, leader of your household, that is where it begins. No discipline, no structures, no jobs. Drugs, alcohol, chaos. From day one, 15 years ago. And she stood right with you. Right with you. You guys get divorced and all of a sudden she's the devil? She capitalized on that. She has been sober since 2021. I'm sorry. She got her life together. She was sober, living on her own, had a house big enough for visitation, had a job, was not barricaded in a free home lying in their own excrement, spending the child support money that your kids did not get. Those were you. At what point is doing what the law asks you to do, receiving your recovery, working a program, at what point do you get punished for that? I have my own history and my own crimes that I have to answer for. Christianity says that I have to forgive you, but today is not that day. This is an escape, if you ask me, Your Honor. This is just an escape. He created the amusement park and decided to kill somebody when he wanted off the ride. You can scream martyr, but you're a coward. You still get out of taking your responsibilities. You're off the hook. Everyone else around you, your family, everyone, countless people hang because you didn't want to be a man. You. I mean, at this point, you have breath in your lungs. You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Berlin?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this time, I know the court has the pre-sentence investigation that gives a summary of the case, but what we would like to do is walk the court through in a little more detail the investigation and some of the evidence that was collected. So at this time, I would like to call to the stand Lieutenant Lisa.
Okay. Lieutenant, come approach. You're not going to be placed under oath. This is not an evidentiary hearing. And I'm going to let Mr. Berlin kind of lead you through your testimony. Again, I'm sure you've testified before. Make sure whatever you say is clear and loud and into the microphone. And my court reporter has a more difficult time seeing you, so make sure that we proceed accordingly. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Berlin.
Your Honor, if you could also share the screen so I could put some things up there.
Hopefully I can. You want the full screen?
Yes, if you could.
There you go.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Lieutenant. Could you just state your name and spell your name for the record?
Matthew DeLisa, D-E-L-I-S-A.
Okay. And you work at Chardon Police Department, right?
I do.
What is your rank?
I'm a lieutenant.
And so what are your everyday duties and responsibilities as lieutenant?
I do oversee the daily responsibilities and duties of the officers, reviewing reports, arrests, citations, their investigations. I do overview and supervise all the criminal investigations with the Chardon Police Department, along with my administrative duties, scheduling, things to that effect.
Did you ever take part in the investigations themselves as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So are you familiar with the investigation into the murder that we're addressing today involving Stephen Kurzinger?
I am.
Okay. So I guess I'd like to direct your attention to June 25th of 2025 at approximately 9:13 p.m. Did Chardon get dispatched regarding a 911 call that was received?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and what was the nature of that 911 call?
The call came in from a neighbor in the 300 block of Irma Drive, Chardon Park Estates, that she heard, she believed were gunshots. As she looked out her window to investigate what was going on, she looked across the street. 318 Irma Drive, she noticed a body laying on the front porch. She also gave information that she remembers seeing a silver gray vehicle parked in the driveway that was no longer there.
And what did Chardon officers discover when they arrived on scene?
We had 2 of our officers respond. As they reached the 318 Irma Drive address, they did notice a deceased female, later identified as Alexandra Kurzinger, on the front porch with apparent gunshot wounds to the face. And she is the sole occupant of that residence.
So no one else was in the residence?
No one else, no.
Now, how quickly after receiving that 911 call was the defendant taken into custody?
I want to say it was anywhere between a half hour to 40 minutes.
And where did that occur, and how did that go down?
That occurred actually in Lake County, Concord Township on Ravenna Road. Apparently after the shooting, the defendant went to the Ravenna Road address, made contact with the residents there, a Christina Newman, and I believe a Nathaniel Woolley lived there as well. They confronted each other out in the driveway there, where at that time Mr. Kurzinger admitted to killing his ex-wife. In turn, Ms. Newman contacted the police department. Sheriff's officers arrived, took Mr. Kurzinger into custody, and secured the gray silver vehicle that he came to the house in.
And then did Chardon officers take custody of him from there?
Yeah, yes, as they were Chardon and Geauga County deputy officers responded to custody of both the vehicle and him.
Okay. And in looking at in the vehicle, were officers able to find anything of note at that time?
Yes, as they looked in the vehicle, in plain view, they can see a black gun, and it would have been in the driver's door compartment, like a pouch in the door compartment, driver's front door compartment. They also noticed a gun magazine next to that gun, a wallet up closer to where the door handle is, and a loose 9mm round next to that wallet.
And if you could look at the screen, I'm going to show you what I'm marking as State's Exhibit 1 photograph. So what does that photograph depict?
That shows the weapon in the pouch, magazine next to it. If you look above, there's the black wallet with the loose 9mm round.
So that would be right around here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And was the gun processed by BCI?
Yes, it was.
And were they able to determine if this was in fact the gun used in the murder?
That was the gun used in the murder, yes.
Okay. Now, you also mentioned that there's a wallet in that picture. Did you find anything of note in that wallet?
Yes, when we inventoried the wallet, we found the defendant's driver's license in there along with his social security card, numerous credit cards that came back to him. We found some loose cash. I think it was about $3 or $4 in cash, along with some business cards. And we also found a white, looked like a credit card receipt from a Gold Star pawn in Willowick for about, I think it was $288 and some change.
I'm going to show you what we've marked as State's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize that?
Yes, that's the receipt that we found in the wallet.
Okay, and was there a date on the receipt?
It was June, yeah,
If you can read that.
June 13th, 25.
Okay. So that would have been, what, about 12 days prior to the murder?
That's correct, yes.
So, did Chardon follow up at all with Gold Star Pawn to determine what this receipt was for?
Yeah, we followed up with Gold Star Pawn immediately, contacted them. They were able to look up the purchase. We found out that a gun was purchased on that date by the defendant, a 9mm Taurus, I think it's a model G2C handgun, and a box of 9mm ammunition. I believe it's a Blazer brand.
And you said you were able to confirm it. How did you confirm that it was him, in fact, who was in the store?
Well, we got the original receipt. We actually got video from him in the store purchasing the weapon.
Okay, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 3. Do you recognize that?
Yes, that's a photograph from video that we received of the defendant holding a gun that he purchased.
Now, you mentioned that the gun matched the shooting. You also, though, mentioned that he purchased some ammunition.
Yes.
And the ammunition that he purchased, do you remember how many rounds there were?
It was a 50-round box of ammunition.
Okay. Then, kind of jumping forward in your investigation, but taking into consideration the shells that were located on scene, the bullets in the magazine, the loose round, and then the ammunition you found in the vehicle, were you able to, that all add up to 50 rounds?
That all added up to 50 rounds.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Now, that night, when the defendant was taken into custody, did Chardon officers receive any information regarding the defendant's movements, either prior to and after the shooting?
Yes.
And first of all, where did that come from?
We actually, during the course of our investigation, we got video from places all around the Chardon area, before, during, and after the incident. We were also able to track his route through a Life 360 app that shows his locations at various times throughout the day.
And Your Honor, in State's Exhibit 4, what we've done is compiled segments of the video that Lieutenant DeLisa has referenced. It's about 60 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll be jumping ahead, but I'll just have him explain what we're seeing and what the video shows. So, Lieutenant, first of all, I note up in the corner we see a date and timestamp of June 25th of 2025, 2058, so that would have been about 8:58, correct?
Correct.
And I'll pause it back. Where is that camera, where's that footage coming from?
That first footage that we showed, yeah, right, that's coming from the residence of Chardon, which is on the northeast corner of Grant Street, Chardon, Windsor, and Southampton Street,
And
facing west.
okay. And in relation to where the murder occurred, where is this?
Kind of hard to see. Up in the middle, you can see a stop sign there, right by that area, that is Irma Drive. The address was 318 Irma Drive, so that's where the vehicle came from.
Okay. And so I'll start playing it, and if you can let us know if you see the defendant's vehicle.
Yeah, right there. And he goes from Irma Drive, stop sign, takes a left, heading westbound on Southampton Street, up towards Charlottesville.
And
Here's the vehicle again, at the top of Chardon Square, continuing heading westbound onto Water Street. That view right there is from the Chardon Fire Department, which is, I think, they're on the northeast corner of the square. This is the second view from the Chardon Fire Department, vehicle coming up to the stop sign, stopping and then continuing westbound over the top of the square onto Water Street westbound.
and his is this darker silver?
Yeah, the darker gray vehicle.
Okay. I'm going to jump ahead a bit. What are we seeing here?
That is Maple Leaf Plaza, specifically Sheets parking lot right there.
Okay, this would be another angle from
That's correct.
Sheets.
Yes.
And this would have been if he just continued straight on the road. He would
Yeah,
have
if you were to
been-
continue straight on to Water Street, this takes you right down to Sheets at the bottom of the hill.
And is this in fact him again parking?
That is correct, yes.
And what are we seeing here?
You see him walking in the Sheets. He's walking back by the coolers. He eventually takes a right. The top right-hand corner are restrooms, so he goes in the restroom for a while. Doesn't purchase anything.
And then is this him then leaving?
Yeah, exiting,
And
going
it-
past the registers and out the same door he came in.
And it appears he's on a cell phone texting someone at that time.
Yes, that is him. Blue shirt, khaki shorts.
So then this would be him returning to his vehicle after using the
Yes.
bathroom. saw earlier. And then is that him returning?
Yeah, he goes the same route as he went to Sheets, eastbound up Water Street, over the top of the square, back on the South Andrew Street, eastbound, to where he comes up to Irma Drive again, and then turns onto Irma Drive.
And I know it's somewhat blocked by a vehicle here, but we saw it. The
Yes.
vehicle starting to turn.
Yeah, he's turning in where those other vehicles are.
And that would be in the direction of the victim's residence, correct?
That's correct, yes.
I'm going to pause things here at approximately 21:10 or 9:10 p.m. for a moment. So, Lieutenant, were you also able to obtain the defendant's cell phone
Yes.
during the investigation?
Yes, we were.
And were you able to do an extraction of the cell phone?
Yes.
And did you locate any text messages between him and the victim from that day
We
prior
did.
to the incident?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up, and I think you also have a copy in front of you. This is State's Exhibit 5, the text messages. And just to explain it, when the extraction was done, it pulled each text 3 times, correct? So
Yeah, they
it's not that
extracted it
just
3
sent-
times, so they didn't send 3 of the same text messages.
We're just looking at the text, the column, so outgoing means that he is sending this message, correct?
That's correct.
And if it says incoming, it means he's receiving the message.
Yes,
And these messages were sent to and from the victim's phone.
that's correct.
And the name that he put in there, that would have been the name that he assigned to her.
Exactly.
Okay, and then in the description is the text, the conversation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, could you read that first text for me?
Yes. Hey, I have a couple things I was wanting to talk to you about, like holidays and such. I was wondering if I could swing by so we could discuss before court, question mark.
Okay, so this reference to court, in the course of your investigation, were you able to determine what he's referring to?
Yes, they had a ongoing custody dispute. I believe it was up in Lake County for the children, visitation, things of that effect.
And were you able to determine when their next court hearing was?
Yes, their next court hearing was supposed to be on the 26th of June, the very next day.
Very next day, okay. And so then the next text, she responds, right, because it's incoming. She's saying she's working, but will be home around 3, and that she has visitation, correct?
Correct.
And then he refers to maybe talking about getting together after visitation, talking about wanting to co-parent better, again, working things out prior to the court hearing, correct?
That's correct.
And then, so you're talking about meeting up, and what does she say about meeting up? You're on number 10.
Yeah, no, she responds back, you can stop over after visitation, but I'm telling you now, you're not allowed any name calling or yelling. He goes, she says, I will walk out, and that there are cameras outside too.
And then she proposes around 7 p.m., it looks like.
That's correct.
And then he responds, what does he suggest?
Yeah, he responds, we can go back, we can go to a park or for a drive. If you feel better about that, I just want to have a plan.
And then he says, Christina will be there, no kids, just I'm talking about the kids.
Yes.
And what is her response to his suggestion to leaving the residence?
She just basically says, hey, we can stay in the stay in my driveway.
And he agrees to that.
He
by
agrees,
saying,
yes.
okay. And then these two things, it looks like, would those just be consistent with maybe making a quick phone call to that number?
Yes, yeah, those 2 calls right there.
Okay. And then, at 9:10, these last ones, what does he text her?
At 9:10, I believe this was him coming back from Sheets, that he just texted her back that I'm back. Meaning we're soon back at the residence at 318 room.
So, then, Your Honor, going back to the video, we have the timestamp of 9:10 up in the corner. I'm just going to play this last a couple minutes.
And this is where the timeline becomes chillingly important. What initially sounds like unexplained bangs now has to be connected to everything the court has already heard. The surveillance footage, the texts, the defendant's movements, and the weapon recovered from his vehicle. The question is no longer simply what happened. It's whether all these pieces form one clear sequence leading directly to the murder. What do you think the evidence is pointing to?